Hey there, my name is Kelly. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the eyeshadow tag, or the eyeshadow palette tag, and it was started by Allie Glines and someone else, Rebecca March? That sounds right. I don't actually know who that is, but I am subscribed to Allie Glines, and I saw her post her video, and then since then I've seen pretty much everybody who has a beauty channel posting their video of it. So I decided I would go ahead and jump on the bandwagon. Main reason being, I'm obsessed with eyeshadow palettes. It's probably my #1 makeup weakness. So yeah, and I recently started my journey into actually using my makeup rather than just hoarding it. So the palettes that you're going to see don't really have that much wear on them because A, I have so many, and B, I just don't use my makeup as much as I want to or as much as I should. So hopefully in the future, if I do something like this or I show you guys my eyeshadow palettes, they'll look more used. But I am just going to go ahead and get started. There is, I think, 1 or 2 categories in here where I don't really have anything that fits it. But I'm just going to go ahead and start with my newest palette, which is the Shroud Cosmetics Arcana palette. It is so beautiful. Oh my god. It's just like delicious fall goodness, and like it's all witchy themed, and it's just right up my alley. No pun intended. But yeah, it's beautiful and I love it so much. If I had waited to film this video a little while longer, this would not be my newest palette in my collection anymore because I did purchase some new ones yesterday. And I also signed up for BoxyCharm a few days ago, half a week ago, something like that, and I did sign up in time to get the May box, and I got a shipping notification on that yesterday. And I feel like BoxyCharm puts eyeshadow palettes in their boxes a lot, so there's a good chance I'll get one from there. So yeah, I need to start using them because it's about to get crazy if I don't. But that's my newest one. What's next? My oldest eyeshadow palette. Actually, I have 2 and they're pretty much the same. I don't remember which one I got first. They have 2 different Almay logos, so I'm not really certain if these are like the same age or not, but I know I had them around the same time. I'm sure I got one earlier than the other, but I honestly don't know which one. Probably the green one, honestly. But these are like back when Almay had the intense eye color line where I don't think they still have that because I've looked for it and I couldn't find it. But basically they had a line for every eye color, and so the products that were for green eyes were meant to make your eyes look more green or like make your eyes look more brown. And I have green eyes, but they can also, depending on what I'm wearing and like the makeup that I'm wearing and the clothes that I'm wearing and stuff like that, they can look a little bit more hazel. So I was using, like, these ones are the ones for green eyes, I think, and these were the hazel eyes ones. Oh no, these are both for greens. I could have sworn one of them was for hazel. Maybe I got rid of that one. But these are my oldest, and these eyeshadows are in perfect condition. Like, they smell normal, they perform normally. This one is actually in a Project Pan. I'm kind of embarrassed to say how old these are because, like, out of the 42 people who are subscribed to me currently, at least one of you guys is probably gonna think that I'm disgusting for using these. I've had both of these since I was in high school. That was a very long time ago. That was over a decade ago. These are old. But they still, like, They don't look weird. They like don't smell weird, and they work perfectly. Like these are so pigmented and so nice. Like these eyeshadows are so good. I makes me want to try some of Almay's like newer eyeshadows. I wonder if they're still just as good. These are so good. Those are my oldest ones. My most expensive palette. So it was a toss-up between two palettes. I actually had to look it up because I wasn't quite sure. I have the Jeffree Star Alien palette, and I think that when that one came out, it retailed for like $52. I actually don't know. My husband got it for me for Christmas, I think. I think it was Christmas. I honestly don't know like how he got his hands on it, because now the only place I can find it is Mercari, and people are selling it for over $100. But I'm grateful that I have it. But I actually did look it up, like I said, and this one actually beat it. So this is the Urban Decay Alice Through the Looking Glass palette, and the top of it has like a mirror, and then it has this. Let me see if I can open it to show you guys, because it's really cool. Like, it's super bulky packaging, but it's beautiful. So you like open these flaps, and the eyeshadow falls out. You open these flaps, and there's like this 3D butterfly here, and I think it's meant to look like a jewelry box or something. But I mean, the top is pretty much pointless other than looking really cool. And then you slide out the bottom, and like this whole thing can pop out, and then you have the palette down here, and it came with a brush. I, to be honest, have only used this probably like 3 or 4 times, which is tragic. This, when it launched, retailed for $60. So it is definitely my most expensive palette. And it's nice. I think honestly the gimmicky packaging is what drew me in. And yeah, but it's beautiful. The whole package and everything, it's beautiful. I'll never get rid of it because of the packaging. It's so nice. And honestly, like the eyeshadows are good quality. But to be perfectly honest, like they're nice. They're not the most incredible eyeshadows I own though, which is kind of sad considering this is my most expensive palette, but they are really nice. The color story is a little disjointed for me personally. Like I get where they were going with a lot of these colors, but as a whole, as a color story, not really sure it's my favorite. But the shadows are nice. So my most expensive. My most affordable is essentially as far on the other side of the spectrum as you can get. My most affordable palettes, so I consider anything with 3 shadows or more a palette, basically. If it's a trio, it's a palette. Anything more than that, it's a palette. My most affordable palettes, I have 3 of them. These are the LA Colors trios. I don't really know if like the actual palette type has a name, but they're these trios, and these cost $1. This is in my project pan right now. These are so good. These are so stinking good. So I have that one, which is like, I don't really know. This one is called Sunflower. This one is Orchid. And they all, no, that one and this one have 2 mattes and a shimmer. And this one has 2 shimmers and a matte, I think. Or like a satin. Yeah, like 2 shimmers and a satin. This one is Lotus. I got these at the Dollar Tree. These are so dang good. Like the quality of these eyeshadows is unreal for $1, and the pans are a decent size also. So I think that this is probably, I don't know, this is just so insane to me. I love these. And if I ever see different color schemes of these and they're colors that I would wear, obviously I'm gonna pick them up. In fact, I might actually, like, if I see them at the Dollar Tree, if I ever get to go to the Dollar Tree again, and I see any of them, I might just pick them up to have like backups of them, because they're $1 and they are so good. Like, the quality of these eyeshadows can compare to my most expensive palette, to the Urban Decay palette. That's how good they are. If you ever see them at the Dollar Tree, get them, because they are good. Okay, what's next? Everyday palette. And I don't really, like I mentioned, I'm really bad about using my makeup, and I'm really trying to fix that, which I've been working on since December of 2019. And so I don't really have like an everyday palette. Like, some people are kind of interpreting this prompt a little differently. Some people are using it to mean like the palette that they use all the time, like that they use the most often. Some people are using it to show like the palette that has their most ideal color scheme, you know what I mean? Like something like if they had to use it every day, they would. I don't really have anything like that, but I decided to go with the palettes that are in my project pan currently, because technically those are currently my everyday palettes, which there are 3 of them. 2 of them I've already shown. One of them is this Almay one. The other one is the LA Colors palette. And then the third one is the Wet n Wild Comfort Zone palette. And this is the original Comfort Zone palette. I know that they did remake this, and a lot of people say that the like remade version is not as good. Like the quality of the shadows isn't as good. I don't know. I haven't tried it. But the quality of these eyeshadows of the original are impeccable. Like crazy good. Like, oh my god. I've said like 5 million times it's a problem. I'm sorry. But like, oh my god. These are so good. I feel as though really, really inexpensive drugstore makeup just doesn't get the attention that it deserves. And it's really sad. I know people like in my personal life that have told me that they don't buy drugstore makeup because they don't think it's possible for drugstore makeup to be as good as high-end makeup. And the people that have told me that, like I've had multiple people tell me that, the people who have told me that aren't people that are like super die hard into makeup like I am. They, you know, they wear makeup, they have a small collection, and they don't want to waste their money on drugstore because they're afraid that it's going to be bad, and they think because something is expensive and high end that it must obviously be better and must obviously have better ingredients. And while sometimes that may be true, I think it's a travesty, honestly, that that's even like a mindset that people have, because I feel like with some high-end brands, they can be just as hit or miss as some drugstore brands. So I think that's kind of tragic. But sorry, I'll get off my little rant there. My most colorful eyeshadow palette is the Makeup Revolution Salvation palette. And this is the Ultimate Color Chaos palette. And let's see. I believe this is supposed to be a dupe for the Urban Decay Electric palette. Not the circle ones, but like the rectangle pans. And like I think that's what it's supposed to be, because it's got the silver, and the colors are pretty much like dead on with that. Like these are really nice eyeshadows. I haven't tried the Urban Decay one, so I don't know how they compare, but you know, they're nice. They're not the most incredible eyeshadows ever, but you know, they work. So there's that. Let's see. My smallest palette. This, now that I'm thinking about it, this is at least as old as my Almay palettes. I don't know if it's quite as old. Like, I don't know if it's older than those, but I know I had this around the same time as those ones. And this is the CoverGirl Eye Enhancers in Tropical Fusion, or Trop Fusion. I'm assuming it's Tropical Fusion, but it's shortened on the back. These colors are so pretty. So pretty. Oh my gosh. The quality on this palette is declining. It definitely hasn't aged as well as my Almay ones. And I haven't used these ones on my eyes probably since I was in high school. But again, like, they look fine. They smell fine. They probably perform fine. So there, this is my smallest one. It's itty bitty. Look how little teeny tiny it is. It is just slightly smaller than the Almay one. It's just a little shorter. Actually, I mean, you could probably say that these are the same size because it is a little bit wider than the Almay ones, so they might actually be the same size, but whatever. I'm going to say that that's my smallest. My biggest palette is my Jaclyn Hill palette from Morphe. This is the largest, because, I mean, you probably all know what this looks like. This is probably the largest as far as the packaging, like, not thickness, definitely not, but like the, you know what I mean? The perimeter. The largest perimeter. But as far as colors, I don't actually know. Is this one? Yeah, this got the most shades too. Pretty dang sure. It's got 35 shades. This thing is huge. It's so big, but I actually really love it. And I don't have a lot of, I'm moving into the next prompt now, but the next prompt is a palette that's worth, oh no. I'm going to skip one because I thought that this was the next one. I'm going to go on to a palette that's worth the hype. I don't have a lot of palettes that were like, I feel like we're super hyped up. I feel like this one was a little bit, and then I have one that I picked out for not worth the hype, but really I don't think I have a lot of palettes that were really super hyped up, at least none that I can remember being hyped up. But the hype, any hype that this one would have gotten, I would say it was worth it. This is a really nice quality palette. Like, say what you want about Jaclyn herself or about Morphe as a brand, but this palette right here is really nice quality. It's just, the mattes are so pigmented and the shimmers are so shimmery. I love this palette. I really, really stinking love it. And I just got like, why did I stick my finger in like the darkest eyeshadow possible? So that's my biggest eyeshadow and my eyeshadow palette. My biggest eyeshadow palette and the one that I feel like is worth the hype of any hype it might have gotten. Now I got eyeshadow on my hand. And on my pants. It's everywhere. Okay, let's see. Best memory. This was the one that I couldn't really pick a certain specific palette for because I feel like I don't have any that have a specific memory attached to them. I do have a lot of palettes that were gifted to me by my husband, or where my husband surprised me and was like, oh, go ahead and buy this one, or we were at like Ulta or something and he's like, okay, I'm gonna get this for you. Any of those I feel like would be my best memories from a palette of just him being thoughtful and getting them for me. But other than that, I don't really have any memories or sentimental value attached to my palettes. So I couldn't pick one for that. Next is a palette that's not worth the hype. And Again, I kind of struggled because I don't have a lot of palettes that were super hyped up, but I do remember this one being talked about a lot. And I haven't used this one on my eyes very much, so I'm not going to be telling you that it's not worth the hype based on the formula, because from the times that I have used it, the formula is really nice. But it's the colors, the color scheme, the color selection. I'm just like, this is the Alyssa Edwards Anastasia palette, and I don't think that this is, for me personally, this is just not my favorite color scheme. I feel like the blue and the purple that are in there are just way too similar. I'm not a big fan of like dark purples. It's nice, I can use it. I just don't, the color scheme is just not my favorite. So for that reason, I'm going to say that this is not worth the hype. If it got any hype, I honestly don't know. But I don't know how hyped that was, but the color scheme is not really worth the hype for me. I did get this at TJ Maxx, so I didn't pay, or was it TJ Maxx or Marshalls or something? So I didn't pay full retail for that, and it was a gift for my husband anyway. So I'm not like mad that I have it and I'm going to use it, but again, not my favorite color scheme. Favorite palette from a favorite brand. I don't really know that I have a favorite brand necessarily, but out of all of the eyeshadow palettes that I have, I'm going to say that this one is my favorite as far as the ratio of quality to price. And this is the Profusion Temptress palette. I have a few Profusion palettes. This one is just, I love the color scheme of this one. I love it. I really like it. The blue and like this like dark reddish bricky orange is just, I just love it. And then the like shimmery green. The color scheme is really nice, but the reason I picked this as my favorite palette from my favorite brand is because I think Profusion is incredible. I think that their eyeshadow quality is so insane for the price that you pay for their palettes. This is a $10 palette. I don't even know how many shades you get in here. 21 shades for $10, and the quality of the eyeshadows is on par with like good high-end eyeshadows. I think that drugstore has gotten to a point where they've proven that you can produce high quality eyeshadows for a very reasonable price, to the point where it's almost ridiculous that there are brands out there selling eyeshadow palettes for over $100. That's my opinion. And yeah, so I think that this is just an unbeatable value. It's incredible. Incredible. Now I think the last one, my most used palette. And again, this was a category that was kind of difficult to pick one for because of the fact that I just haven't used my eyeshadow palettes as much. Like, I haven't used a single eyeshadow palette to the point where I've hit pan. I don't think I have pan on any of my eyeshadow palettes, on any of my eyeshadows in my palettes, or even any of my single eyeshadows. I don't think I have pan on them. But there was a point in time where I was using this, even the few times that I was doing my makeup, I was using this every single time. And this is the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. And I love this shade right here. As you can tell, that it's definitely the most used shade, and that is Bellini. I just think this is a really nice, it's like it's a neutral palette, but it has pops of neutral colors. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, the colors aren't bright and obnoxious. It's okay, my camera cut off, so I have no idea where it cut me off at, but yeah, I'm gonna count this as my most used palette just because I can't think of any other palette where I used it before I started project panning, like consistently choosing this one over every other palette. So because of that, I'm going to count this as my most used, just because I do remember consistently choosing this over and over and over again over everything else. But yeah, that's it. Those are all of my palettes that I chose for all of the prompts. And a lot of those were really tricky because I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes to choose from, and then some of the categories I kind of just had to tweak to really fit my palettes. I mean, I guess a lot of people are doing that, but yeah, so that's going to be it. Those are my eyeshadow palettes, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're doing this tag, go ahead and leave me a link down below because I would love to watch it. I love watching people's, like, anything about eyeshadow palettes. Somebody could post a video like an hour long just talking about and showing eyeshadow palettes, and I would watch the entire thing with a snack without pausing because I'm obsessed. But anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you later. Bye.